Welcome to Turtle WoW News with Vrograg. I'm your news anchor orc, Vrograg Fishlayer, here to bring you all the server news for the week of January 16th, 2024. I am broadcasting from the arid peaks above Searing Gorge, where I'm trying to get some heat back in my bones after a month of being pelted by snowballs. Today we have word from Tel'abim's thriving world PvP scene, a feature on Golden Moon's breakthrough strategy in Blackwing Lair, announcements, Market Watch, and the Changlog Round-Up. So let's get to it. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. Our top story today comes from the land of bananas and blood, Tel'abim, Turtle WoW's only PvP server. Just yesterday, Phase 2 for Tel'abim was announced, and it's coming about a month earlier than previously expected on January 19th. This seems to be, according to Acolyx, who announced it minutes before this script was finished, to be in response to community feedback, giving players more to do, and helping Tel'abim catch up to Nordinar sometime in the future. Good luck to everyone in BWL. It seems as of late things are really starting to heat up in the world PvP scene. Thanks to the efforts from Turtle WoW Tel'abim's correspondent Larazia, I was able to watch in as the Horde and Alliance struggled to claim the right to defeat the Dark Reaver outside of Karazhan. While spending time there, I spoke on and off the record with many involved in this particular struggle. And, according to various sources, the struggle over this one prized world boss kill took about 6 hours. Tel'abim has seen a marked population decline as fresh chasers came and went or stayed offline waiting for the next phase. However, in their wake, a core group of those dedicated to the server have remained, and the first signs of a new burgeoning Turtle WoW community can be observed. Small groups mean there needs to be a higher level of coordination between guilds and raids. This, in turn, creates unique issues that the community works together to solve. For instance, the Dark Reaver kill involved about half a dozen different guilds from the Alliance side to down, and in order to distribute loot properly, custom loot tools were used to weigh drops by guild attendants in the raid. It's not just creative problem solving either. I have also seen actual strategic maps made of surrounding areas on where to lay ambushes and where to station defenders. I've heard the cheers of victory and moans of defeat all around me. It was like I got to be an actual war correspondent. And suffice to say, these players are really putting the war back in Warcraft. Of course, Dark Reaver wasn't just a one-off. All available world bosses have been contested as the world PvP scene warms up. I'm even beginning to see a lot of reports about raids happening on capital cities all around the world. Just from examining the player's gear, I could see Molten Core items aplenty, so there's no doubt that the raids are also being cleared. So while the population might be smaller, the people there have been inviting and supportive towards building their own community. It's the same game, just more violent. And with Phase 2 for Tel'abim set to launch next month, excitement has been mounting on what new feats of glory might be attained next. So if real faction war and a tight-knit community is your thing, think about Tel'abim. Bananas have never seemed so appealing. In other server top news, Winter Veil is over and 2024 is starting with the Turtle WoW team hard at work. On the 11th, the Labor and Legacy patch that Nordinar and Tel'abim have been enjoying was rolled out to the various SEA servers. No word yet, though, on if transfers from Nordinar to the localized Chinese servers will happen as of yet. There have been the first signs of the hype train for the new content being released, as seen with a Twitter post teasing a behind-the-scenes look at what might be a new area from Grim Batol with this image. Why the designers chose to still make bars too tall for dwarves in a dwarven place, made by and furnished with dwarf items, I'll never know. And finally, with the Winds of Discovery event over, there are some who really enjoyed the custom music playing in the starter zones for the High Elves and Goblins. Fortunately for them, the 2 original soundtracks that were in the starting zones have been made available on various platforms. So now those new characters can listen once again in order to remember their roots as they continue their journeys. Links will be provided in the description below. That's it for top stories. Now, let's go to Market Watch for the news from the auction house. Welcome to the newly revamped Market Watch 2.0, covering more indexes and commodities than ever before. All our data is graciously provided to us by wowauctions.net. Make sure to visit their site to do all your due diligence in auction house market investment research. Today's Market Watch will be structured a little different in order to tell a story about how the markets are starting to put the squeeze on the average raider. To start, I'd like to reveal to all of you a new version of the S&V. I call it the S&V 200. According to some articles I read, the best way to show general market trends is to have an index with as many important stocks as possible. I call it the S&V 200 because it has roughly 200 stocks, all amalgamated into it, with no weights. Here's the listing of that now. With that said, behold the first official S&V 200 index chart. It tells an unusual story, that of the market writ large going down this month. For the PvE player at max level though, that has certainly not been the case. Now the original S&V 7 is primarily aimed at the raiding community. Black Lotus, Grom's Blood, Stone Scale Eel, all of which are instrumental for tanks who need defensive flasks to survive raid encounters. However, to keep everything in context, we can see that the S&V has been this high before, but rarely, and once famously before a patch dropped. The thing is, there is no patch dropping, but prices are climbing higher and higher. Onto the Herbalism Index, going back as far as we can, prices have been hiking up, but this index also includes items like Arthas's Tears and Dreamfoil, which have been following in price substantially in the same amount of time, in part because Arthas's Tears are now being picked in droves in the hopes of a lucky Plague Bloom proc, and Dreamfoil can be acquired with some regularity by Lasher farmers. Meanwhile, Mountain Silver Sage and Icecap don't spawn in instances other than Alterac Valley, where herb farmers have been getting punished for not participating in the battleground. So the limited supply, plus high demand and unchecked stockpiling has made these reagents for consumables rocket in price. Observe the price spiking recently with Elixir of the Mongoose, one of the single best melee consumables, an item that needs 2 Mountain Silver Sage. Or for Icecap, observe the cheapest of the 3 main raid flasks, climbing up in price by 15% in just a month. So what is going on then? Observe this graph provided by the TurtleWow webpage that tracks the population on Nordinar. The total players on the server is about the same as right around when yours truly started keeping data. But the prices are nowhere near those levels now, so it can't simply be a matter of how many people are playing. Unfortunately, I don't have as much data from the markets back then, but I do have Black Lotus from mid-May of 2023. Looking at that, I think it's clear to see there are just more players doing raid content, more people stockpiling in preparation for transfers or out of fear of more price spikes, even more max-level hardcore characters unable to sell their items on the auction house. Inflation and demand are getting tough to deal with for the average player. Let's hope that the Turtle team takes note of their maturing player needs before prices get to the point where people weigh their options of whether to grind out just enough gold to go raid, or skip a week, or just stop raiding altogether. Thank you for indulging me on this special edition of Market Watch. I hope you found this information useful. Remember to keep an eye on your coin, or someone else will for you. Back to the news. Let's take a look at the changelog from January 9th and see what new things were fixed with another rapid-fire changelog roundup. Stealthy classes in Warsong Gulch will be able to stealth while carrying the flag rather than being blocked from doing so. Entering stealth will now drop the flag. Over in the Salt Flats of Thousand Needles, speed demons can now race via both Dolores's and Daisy's gossip text. Doing so will now allow the player to choose what side to race for. The scripted event at the end of Scarlet Cathedral should now be fixed after a few weeks of Whitemane casting Sleep instead of Resurrection on her fallen champion. Raiders in Upper Blackrock Spire trying to get exclusive loot from Lord Valthalak with the Brazier of Invocation should once again be able to summon the Dragon Noble. Shaman's Lightning Shield spell will no longer somehow remove Lotheb's Corrupted Mind debuff. Congrats to the healing parse of that one shaman who figured it out though. Much to Warlock's chagrin, enslaving a demon will no longer make it unattackable. Notice to all rogues tired of getting random trade windows opened for lockboxes, and everyone else who just decided to toggle on block all trades, doing so will no longer require a client reset in order to do trades once more. And finally, the various bosses of Lower Karazhan are now all properly immune to disorient effects. That concludes the Changlog Round-Up. A new changelog is soon to be released, so make sure to keep an eye out on the forums to see what new bug was fixed next. For today's feature piece, I have something special from the leading guild researchers over at the Science Division of Golden Moon. A while ago, Delphina from Golden Moon reached out to let me know of a new raid strategy for dealing with the dreaded Suppression room in Blackwing Lair. Anyone who has done the dreaded two-tiered room knows the tedious things that the raid must go through. Traps that slow everyone, no time to drink, annoying resurrections, rogues hiding and disarming traps only to have mobs pulled over them and die. To cap it all off, waiting at the end is the dreaded Broodlord Lash Lair, who hits pretty hard and has tricky threat mechanics to watch out for. So what if I told you the fine minds at Golden Moon Science Division have created a way to basically walk right up to the boss? No trash mobs, no hatchers killing melee, no orcs needing polymorphs, just a casual walk with only 10% of the original rigmarole needed before Lash Lair himself. Well, I joined Golden Moon to see for myself what the hubbub was all about and how this works. Presenting the Golden Moon Suppression Room. All one needs do is have a warlock drop their infernal on the upper tier near Broodlord. This infernal, of course, will be close enough to anger the boss, and will put the warlock in combat. Swiftly, the warlock will drain some of their own life, then gather up with a hunter, who will be standing by with a bandage. The hunter will then heal the warlock, generating global threat. Up top, the angry Dragon Lord comes stomping through. He brings all of his friends with him. They are on a mission to kill the interlopers. Broodlord has a limited leash, however, on how far he'll travel, but the trash from the suppression rooms has no such compunctions. The hunter will jump down and kite the ball of angry dragons and orcs towards Velstraz's room, which is nicely appointed with ledges and ramps to allow the hunter to kite for as long as is necessary. While Broodlord resets, the rest of the raid rushes in like mad to go take the now open path up to Broodlord. No trash packs need to be killed. No rogues die. Mana is full up and the party can engage Broodlord on their own terms. The technique itself isn't perfect. Traps will still need to be disarmed and sometimes stragglers are left behind. Even after Broodlord is down, the group will still need to clear out space for the upcoming Goblin tech packs. But compared to a normal suppression room attempt, this was measures easier and quicker. All it takes is a little coordination and cleverness to pull off. I did speak at length before with Delphina about the likelihood of this technique being patched out by the Turtle WoW team, or possible reprisals once this goes public. They agreed that there is a chance of this getting shut down, but word will eventually get out about the technique. So rather than incur the wrath of the Turtle team for this, Golden Moon would rather be open about it. Worst comes to worst, it's patched out, but it helps put Golden Moon and their busy researchers on the map. To that end, I hope you all enjoyed learning about this little trick. I'd like to thank Golden Moon once again for letting me ride along on the fun BWL run and witness what some cleverness and flexibility can achieve. Stay tuned because their science division is already working on something new and I can't wait to see what it is. Well, that is all the time we have for the news today. I'd like to thank you all for taking time to watch the news program. I hope you found the information useful. I will be streaming this weekend, noon EST, 5 server time. This last weekend we were fortunate enough to have Dan from the Turtle WoW radio team drop by, as well as Akalix who spoke about development directions. So make sure to check that out if you missed it. But make sure to drop by this week, catch a few fish, and enjoy the fine community. If you liked this content and want more, make sure to like and subscribe. My comments, DMs, and emails are always open for feedback and constructive criticism. It's about time for me to head out. Fortunately, I've warmed up, and it'll be time to go give Nefarian another butt whooping. I hope to see you all next time. Whatever you're doing, make sure to have fun. Be safe, and as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge.